Welcome to Defense Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: with the killing of Saleh al-Arouri, it appears that Israel has struck in the heart of Hezbollah territory. So what will Iran do? Two key military appointments from China's naval ranks reflects Xi's territorial ambitions, analysts say. Eddie Bernice Johnson, trailblazing Texan in U.S. House, dies at 89. The best new shows to stream in January. China closed 2023 with a military purge. With the killing of Saleh al-Arouri, it appears that Israel has struck in the heart of Hezbollah territory. So what will Iran do? ABC. The recent killing of Hamas leader, Abu al-Walid al-Mahdi al-Masri, in Lebanon raises questions about potential escalation of conflict between Israel and Hamas. The killing occurred in Hezbollah territory, who may be affronted by the violation of their territory. Both Israel and Hezbollah are unlikely to want a new war. However, Israel prefers targeted killings over full-scale war with Hezbollah, although Hezbollah is a stronger military opponent than Hamas. Hezbollah has access to more weapons than Hamas, with no restrictions on imports from Iran, and is believed to have 150,000 missiles in southern Lebanon ready to be fired into Israel if needed. Two key military appointments from China's naval ranks reflect Xi's territorial ambitions, analysts say. CNN. China's new defense minister has been appointed with a focus on Taiwan, according to analysts. Admiral Dong Jun, who was named defense minister last week, has extensive experience in both the People's Liberation Army Navy plan and in Chinese military operations in areas neighboring Taiwan. Taiwan is a key priority for Chinese President Xi Jinping, who aims to rejuvenate China and reunite Taiwan with the mainland. China claims Taiwan as its own territory, despite never having controlled it, but aims for peaceful reunification. However, it has not ruled out using force to take control of the island. The appointment of Admiral Dong Jun, alongside the new overall commander of the plan, Admiral Hu Zhongming, reflects China's focus on Taiwan, as well as its military capabilities in the South China Sea. Eddie Bernice Johnson, trailblazing Texan in U.S. House, dies at 89. Washington Post. Eddie Bernice Johnson, a former psychiatric nurse from Dallas who served in the U.S. House of Representatives for 3 decades, establishing herself as the most influential Democrat in North Texas while steering billions of federal dollars to the region and shaping policy debates on climate change and technology, died December 31. She was 89. Her death was announced in a Facebook post by her son, Dorrance Kirk Johnson Sr., who did not share additional details. Ms. Johnson was elected to 15 terms in the House before retiring last January, leaving office as the Dean of Texas's congressional delegation and as the House's oldest member. Praised by President Biden as a mentor to generations of public servants, she had a reputation for being forthright but even-keeled, and was revered by constituents who celebrated her advocacy on behalf of Black and low-income residents who had been overlooked by the region's white male power brokers. The best new shows to stream in January. The Sydney Morning Herald. The author of this article provides recommendations for various streaming shows that will be airing in January 2024, across different platforms such as Netflix, Binge, Stan, Amazon Prime, Apple TV+, Disney+, Paramount+, ABC iView, SBS On Demand, and BritBox. Some of the shows highlighted include Boy Swallows Universe on Netflix, True Detective, Night Country on Binge, Prosper on Stan, Expats on Amazon Prime, Masters of the Air on Apple TV+, Echo on Disney+, Sexy Beast on Paramount+, Total Control on ABC iView, Scrubs on SBS On Demand, and Maryland on BritBox. The author also mentions that in 2024, the impact of Hollywood's writers and actors' strikes may become more apparent, but there may not be as much belt-tightening on budgets and conservative programming choices as some predict. Instead, there may be a consolidation of platforms and a change in how people pay for and maintain their chosen streaming services. The author concludes by urging readers to share any series they have found that may have been overlooked, as streaming television continues to evolve and the need to know about the best shows remains constant. China closed 2023 with a military purge. Foreign policy. China's recent military purge, in which 9 high-ranking generals were removed from the National People's Congress, NPC, is seen by some as preparation for war. However, military purges are a common feature of autocratic rule and are often aimed at asserting the ruling party's control over the military. Corruption within the People's Liberation Army, PLA, has been a long-standing issue, and Chinese President Xi Jinping has intensified anti-corruption efforts within the PLA since taking office in 2012. The recent purge may be part of Xi's efforts to control the military and ensure its readiness for a potential conflict over Taiwan. The corruption within the PLA rocket force may be related to the real estate market downturn or the expansion of China's nuclear arsenal, which involves substantial land acquisition and potential for corruption. The cleanup within the military is not expected to have a significant impact in the long run, as corruption issues tend to resurface due to the lack of transparency and oversight. The recent purge may temporarily affect the efficiency of the PLA rocket force, as officials become cautious to avoid being scapegoats. Ukraine's dwindling supply of Leopard 2 tanks aren't being repaired because Europe doesn't have enough spare parts, German politician says. Yahoo! Ukraine's Leopard 2 tanks supplied by Germany are not being deployed in the war due to a lack of spare parts, according to German lawmaker Sebastian Schäfer. He said that the lack of parts is so severe that Ukrainian mechanics are actually damaging the tanks in the process of trying to fix them. In a letter to weapons manufacturers, Schäfer called for improvements in the repair process and the supply of parts for the damaged tanks. Mossad chief who led hunt to kill perpetrators of Munich Olympic massacre dies at 98. The Sydney Morning Herald. Zvi Zamir, the former director of Mossad, Israel's intelligence agency, has died at the age of 98. Zamir was responsible for leading Operation Wrath of God, a mission designed to hunt and kill those responsible for the terrorist attack at the Munich Olympic Games in 1972. The Israeli government refused to negotiate with the terrorists, who demanded the release of Palestinian prisoners, and instead handed control of the situation to Mossad. Zamir traveled to Munich to try and persuade the German authorities to allow the Israeli military to launch a rescue mission. However, this request was denied due to a constitutional prohibition on foreign military operations within Germany. Zamir was forced to watch as the situation spiraled out of control and the terrorists killed all of their hostages. Afterwards, Zamir was granted permission by Prime Minister Golda Meir to kill those responsible for the terrorist attack. This led to the creation of Operation Wrath of God. The first target was Abdulwahel Zwader, who was shot 12 times in Rome in October 1972. Zamir continued to oversee the operation until his retirement in 1978. Taxidermy mount of beloved dog rediscovered in Victoria after nearly 70 years. CBC. A dog named Muggins, who helped raise money for the Canadian Red Cross during World War I, has been found after being missing for almost 70 years. Muggins was trained to carry donation boxes on his back and collect money for soldiers fighting abroad. After his death in 1920, he was taxidermied and displayed at the BC Legislative Assembly. In 1955, the mount disappeared until it was recently found in a shed. Plans are now being made to display Muggins at the Costume Museum at Government House in Victoria. Portsmouth leaders talk top priorities for 2024, Housing and Climate Action Plan. Yahoo! Portsmouth Mayor Declan McEachern has called on the city to address the housing crisis and climate change. In his inauguration speech, McEachern said affordable housing was at the heart of his vision for the city. He said Portsmouth would engage in partnerships and zoning reforms to ensure affordable and sustainable living. McEachern also identified climate change as an urgent priority and said the city would develop a comprehensive climate action plan. McEachern was speaking after being sworn in for his second term as mayor. In his speech, he called on city residents to help build a future characterized by hope, progress, and community. The mayor's comments were met with a standing ovation from the audience. Other priorities mentioned by returning councillors included the need to increase affordable housing, engage with younger residents, and reduce the cost of the proposed police station. Portsmouth City Council was re-elected in November, and the inauguration ceremony also saw the swearing-in of Assistant Mayor Joanna Kelly. Poland scrambles F-16s to defend airspace during Russian attacks on Ukraine. Yahoo! Poland has scrambled F-16 fighter jets to protect its airspace during Russia's recent attack on Ukraine. On December 29, a Russian missile entered Polish airspace from Ukraine. The Polish Army's Operational Command reported that 2 pairs of F-16 fighter jets and an Allied air tanker were activated to ensure the safety of Polish airspace. The jets were launched from bases in Lask and Krzyżany. The Polish government summoned the Russian chargé d'affaires for an explanation of the incident, but the Kremlin has said it will not respond until presented with concrete evidence. And that's a wrap on today's news. We've covered a range of topics, from the escalating tensions in the Middle East to the latest streaming shows to watch. But let's dive deeper into a few of these stories. First, in the Middle East, we see Israel making targeted killings in Hezbollah territory, raising questions about potential escalation with Iran. While Israel prefers targeted killings over full-scale war, Hezbollah is a stronger military opponent with access to a large number of missiles. It's a delicate situation, and one that could have significant regional implications. Meanwhile, China's recent military appointments reflect President Xi's territorial ambitions, particularly in regards to Taiwan. China claims Taiwan as its own territory and aims for reunification, even if it means using force. The appointment of a defense minister with a focus on Taiwan shows China's determination to achieve its goals. In other news, the passing of Eddie Bernice Johnson, a trailblazing Texan in the U.S. House, marks the end of an era in North Texas politics. Johnson was known for her advocacy on behalf of marginalized communities and her ability to shape policy debates. She will be missed by many. And on a lighter note, we have recommendations for the best new shows to stream in January. With a variety of options across different platforms, there's something for everyone. So grab your popcorn and get ready for some binge watching. As always, I encourage you to share your thoughts and ideas. What do you make of the tensions in the Middle East? Are you excited about any of the new streaming shows? Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.